Welcome, everyone, to Bet What Happens Live. I'm your host, Nick Giffen, predictive analyst here at Action Network. And joining me from the Favorites podcast, my buddy, Simon Hunter. Simon, how's it going?
Nick, happy to be here, brother.
Yeah, we've had a wild slate of games so far. Professionals winning today. A lot of overs. Every game except one has gone over. But right now, we're at halftime of Seattle and Buffalo. That's the first of the two games we'll be focusing on for live betting. Currently, Buffalo leads by a score of 14-3 over the Seattle Seahawks in a windy and rainy game. Have any thoughts on the game here so far, and then potentially any live bets?
Yeah, how do we not bet Geno's over interceptions at this point, right? They're going to be chucking like crazy, and you just seen this game. Things have just not gone their way, right? The weather's affecting one team, and it's noticeable right now. It's Seattle, right? They got down the red zone. Did the snap go over his head? So, yeah, unlucky if you bet Seattle in this game. And the Bills, everything's clicking. Even after the turnover by Josh Allen, which we knew was coming, right? At this point, mathematically, we just knew eventually he was going to have one that was just going to be a little too far ahead of a guy. And that's what happened today. A bad bounce or two. He's gotten pretty lucky. So, yeah, in this matchup, clearly the Bills look like the more prepared team and the better team like we all thought they might be.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, you're talking about Geno Smith potentially betting his interception prop. He's 10 for 13, 95 yards. So a lot of short passing going on right now. And one thing I do notice about Buffalo is they do tend to keep passes in front of them. Both Buffalo and Seattle, bottom 6 in terms of average depth of target allowed. So Geno Smith, I'm looking at his interception prop, and I'm seeing plus 134 at FanDuel, and at DraftKings, I see plus 130. Is that good enough for you?
It is. I just think he's going to be desperate. He's going to be forced to make throws now. Like before, like you said, that was smart for them to keep checking it down. That's what the defense was giving them. Now he's going to be forced to go downfield. And the biggest deal to me is there's no DK Metcalf. Like that's a guy who can win those 50-50 balls. Right now he's throwing to smaller receivers and his tight end. So I like this for us to be a sloppy game. That's why we like the under coming in, right? Not just the numbers telling us. It was like, okay, this might be really bad weather, especially in the second half. So, yeah, I like us to get a good turn here from Geno.
Yeah, exactly. So, and here's the other thing. Buffalo starts with the ball, so they have a chance to expand the lead even further, which could potentially force Seattle even more into a pass-heavy script. So we're going to take Geno Smith over half an interception. You can get that plus 134 at FanDuel. It's pretty much right in line with our model, but hey, if Simon likes it, we're going to, go with it here. So I'm happy to take Geno Smith over half an interception plus 134 over at FanDuel. What about some other thoughts on this game? Maybe on the Buffalo side of the ball or anything?
Yeah, the obvious one to me will be, like you just said, they're getting the ball to start. And I've been tempted. I was tempted to bet before the game, Josh Allen anytime touchdown. Now I'm really thinking, okay, this is going to be the thing in the second half where it's not going to just be him running the ball, obviously, but I feel like once they get to the red zone, that's when we see Josh wants to take the ball in his own hands. And if it's getting worse weather-wise, he knows it's smarter to pull the ball down, run it himself, than try to pass it, especially when he gets down the red zone. So that was one I was eyeing before the game. Now the weather's picking up, and I really see how it is, where he doesn't, in this game so far, he's not at all mind pulling the ball down, running with it. So let me check right now, see what the value is. Do you have the numbers right now? What is it?
Yeah, we got 3-1 up at FanDuel. Our model has him at plus 275. So a little bit of value there. So if you want to throw like half a unit on it or something, I'm game.
Yeah, he's already got 4 carries, and he's averaging 4.5 yards per carry. So it's like clearly the run for him is working today. He's only using when he needs to, and I think in the second half we'll see that even grow even more.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna go here in the Buffalo-Seattle game over at FanDuel 3-1. Make sure to shop around, but we're gonna take Josh Allen for an anytime touchdown. We're gonna throw half a unit on it. Actually, there's plus 320 at DraftKings. So if you're able to get plus 320, make sure you grab that. Even better on Josh Allen anytime touchdown. I'll check as always, check the YouTube chat to see, because sometimes they'll alert us to an even better line. But right now, best I see is plus 320. Josh Allen, half a unit, anytime touchdown.
If he wins this game, say he does get another touchdown pass and he runs for one more, you think we wake up tomorrow and he overtakes Lamar to be the MVP favorite?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, because Lamar did have a bad game today, right? He didn't play the best. So
yeah, Ravens lost, and
we
Buffalo
see how
would be.
that just reacts, right? It always reacts so quickly just to what happens on a daily basis.
And just as far as like MVP or offensive player type of the year races, obviously Lamar's already won 2 MVPs.
Yeah,
The media will be looking for any excuse to
it's
not,
true.
to not take him for MVP. So there's always that reason as well. But yeah, I mean that could be a live bet you make. It's not part of our in-game player prop model, but definitely that's
Yeah,
an
but you know,
angle to
Josh Allen's
consider.
thinking that, right? He's going to think
Yep.
to himself, "I got to get some little more here." Like this is,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good point. That's a little extra motivation there for Josh Allen. I like the idea with the, being slick with the rain. He can make a move or two. And maybe the Buffalo kicker misses the extra point or something because I need him to stay under. But all right, so we got Josh Allen touchdown plus 320, half a unit. We have Geno Smith over half an interception plus 134. You looking at any yardage props for any of the backs or receivers or quarterbacks passing, anything like that?
yeah. Obviously, I wanted to look at Cook because we just talked about it. Like he's going to get more touches here. Right now, he's 8 for 56, averaging 7 yards per carry.
Yeah.
So that's why, to me, I like the Josh Allen thing. I know they're going to go into halftime here, and they're going to say, "Okay, we've had Josh attack through the air when we need to, but we're really dominating on the ground. Like they're getting really good push up front." And we saw before he came on here, their D linemen are fighting right now each other on the Seahawks.
Yeah.
So I'm just a little weird taking anything in the air, both sides of the ball, because of this weather. I'll be honest with you. It's like that's why, again, coming to this game, me and you both loved the under. It was just something we talked about. I know I did all week where it was opened at 49. It got down to 46 and a half, 46 by kickoff. And it's just, we knew it would be worse in the second half. Turns out it was brutal in the first half as well, right? I think they'd scored a total of 17 points. So for me, if we're looking for player props, I don't know about you. I'd like to stay on the ground. But if you have any receiver player props you like, throw them out there.
Yeah, well, so I put in James Cook into the model here. And he's pretty much 50-50. They've kind of inflated his live line, so I don't think we can take him.
Right.
An interesting angle might be Ray Davis, just because he hasn't had a rushing attempt yet.
No.
Buffalo's up 2 scores. If they get up a third score, I could definitely see them working in some Ray Davis. We are showing
Yeah, Cook missed.
overvalue.
Was it last week Cook missed or the week before? He missed a game for an injury. So why give him unnecessary touches? I agree with you.
Yeah, exactly. So we're showing value on over 12.5 minus 108 at FanDuel if you like that.
Oh, I love that. That's fun.
Yeah. So we'll go Ray Davis over 12.5 rushing yards. You can get that minus 108 at FanDuel. It could be one if, we're making it official here, but it could be one where maybe you see if Buffalo starts to drive a little bit in the first drive of the second half because he's probably not going to get the opening touches of the second half. So you could kind of wait
No.
this one out, see if Buffalo's moving the ball. If they are, they're more likely to score. That makes it even better for Ray Davis here. But because we're not going to be going into the first drive of the second half, we'll just take it here. So if you want to hold off as the watcher, the viewer, that's fine, but we're making it an official play here on Bet What Happens Live. So right now we have 3 bets total on Bet What Happens Live. We have Ray Davis over 12.5 rushing yards minus 108. We have Josh Allen anytime touchdown, half a unit at plus 320. And we have Geno Smith over half an interception plus 134. Let's try to maybe find one more bet here before we come out of halftime, and then we'll transition over to the Bears versus the Washington Commanders in that battle of the rookie QBs. Anything else you're thinking about in this Buffalo Seattle game?
I always love when we come running. We always take some random long shot because we've hit some of these
Yes.
before. How are we feeling about defensive touchdown for either team? Is there a side you like more for defensive touchdown, or I always like taking one when it's sloppy like this. It just even getting kick returns makes it a little better value in weather like this. So is there a side you'd rather have defensive touchdown? Obviously, I kind of think we should go Bills just because I already bet that Geno interception total prop.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, there's 12-1 for Buffalo and 21-1 for Seattle at FanDuel. I'm going to check DraftKings as well because DraftKings also includes the special teams. And with it being sloppy, I could see, shaking somebody on a kick
Yeah,
return or a punt return, but they actually have those juiced way down. So probably should just stick with the defense only. Honestly, I'm fine with either one simply because the odds are so inflated on Seattle's defense. And then the Bills are 12-1. So, I kind of like them both if you just want to sprinkle them
I
both.
agree. I was gonna say I was right away. I was like, all right, we'll do Bills, but 20-1 is pretty insane right
Yeah,
now, especially for
exactly.
these conditions.
So we'll do, how about this? Let's do 0.2 units on Buffalo's defense at 12-1 and point 0.1
Point
on
one.
Seattle's
Yeah,
defense at 21-1.
I
So we
love that.
got both defenses in here. Total of 0.3 units makes it nice and easy. 0.2 on Buffalo's defense, 12-1 at FanDuel, and 0.1 units on the Seattle Seahawks defense, 21-1. We're hoping for a little slop. And honestly, it's not too bad because right now this game has 17 points. The over-under on it closed around 45. So
Right.
we have room to hit a defensive touchdown and still stay under there, Simon, because I know myself, Kerner, you liked it as well
Yeah.
when we were talking on it, convinced me earlier. So we will be coming out of halftime for Buffalo versus Seattle. We're not quite at the 2-minute warning of Washington versus Chicago. So, Simon, I'm going to throw you a little curveball here. Any 4 p.m. live bet you want to make on a side, a total, or a player prop, it doesn't have to just be on these two games we're focusing on.
Yeah, the one that jumps out to me, it's been the day of tight end scores, hasn't it?
Yep.
So I'm already invested in Brock Bowers. I haven't bet him to score a touchdown today because I kind of got lucky where they're hitting the last week. And now I'm thinking to myself, why not take it? They're about to get down by probably a touchdown right heading into half. How many times we've seen Mahomes somehow get his team down the field in 40 seconds, get a field goal. So I'm assuming they'll be down by a touchdown heading into the half. That's the time to shine for Brock Bowers, especially when they get behind this Chiefs team. They'll abandon the run. We've seen the Raiders do it. I am intrigued. I would love to hear your view on what his value is right now. Bowers, anytime touchdown.
Yeah, well, I see plus 460 at FanDuel, which makes sense given his pregame line was in the mid twos.
Yeah,
And now that they're trailing, they're even more likely to throw, that kind of thing. So I certainly don't mind plus 460. The Chiefs allow just a crazy ton of targets to the tight end position, which is weird for a team that plays more man. Usually a team that plays more man doesn't allow as many targets to the tight end position, but the Chiefs have. Probably because they've always been playing from ahead as well, right? Which
agree.
helps because other teams are throwing. And Brock Bowers has struggled a little bit against man coverage, but hey, right now, 3 for 39. He's caught all 3 of his targets. So I'd expect at least 3 more targets in the second half. So I think I'm good with plus 460, plus
Let's do
450
like point two
now.
units on that. Let's go small on
Yeah.
it, just because, like you said,
Yeah.
he does struggle against man.
Yeah. So we'll do 0.2 units on Brock Bowers. Anytime touchdown plus 450 at FanDuel. Just moved to plus 470. So by the time you guys are able to get this, you'll be able to get 450, 470 in that neighborhood. So that's what we're going to do. And with that, we are at the 2-minute warning of the Chicago Bears versus the Washington Commanders. So we're going to switch over to that game. Right now, the Chicago Bears trail 9-0. So no points yet for Chicago. I'm just going to pop in the number of timeouts each team has and grab the money lines so that the model is as accurate as possible. But what's your thoughts on this battle so far, Simon?
Playing out like I thought, honestly, it would be. I like the under in this matchup, and I actually like the Bears because I just thought Jane Daniels wouldn't be himself. I really did think the injury would be a big deal. Now, he's had a couple throws where it's like, okay, and runs where you're like, this is the Jane Daniels we all know.
Yep.
But they have struggled in the red zone, right? That's not something they're used to this season. The only other time they've struggled like this was against that Giants team, right? Their other games, they've really done well designing plays to get either Daniels on the run or just mismatches once they get down the red zone. So to me, something that jumps out right away, it's like, how do you now throw a little bit on this Bears money line, right? Their defense has held up on 3 drives. If they get a touchdown here at end of half, and then, who knows what can happen going forward. It's just, if you can keep this game kind of close and keep it ugly, I think there is a way where the Bears, once they can get it going, I think offensively they'll be able to move the ball against Washington. Because we've seen this year, Washington, as good as their defense is, they're kind of just a thrown together unit, right? They were known as expectations for them to be that great of a defense coming to this season. So it's really been all about Daniels. And you've seen it today, just Daniels, something's off, and it's clearly an injury to his ribs. It's just, we're not used to seeing that from him the last couple of weeks.
For sure. Yeah. Only 6 completions, 111 yards. It's not really a sustainable way of making yardage. So
No.
right now I see Bears 3-1 money line at FanDuel. And then looking at DraftKings, I see plus 240. So definitely grab it at FanDuel 3-1. Simon, how much you want to put on that?
Me personally,
Yeah, well, for the show,
for
for the
the show,
viewers.
because I don't want people to be going crazy here and hate
Right,
me
right.
for going on Caleb Williams. I do half a unit.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds
Just
good.
again,
So
just in case they score here before half. That's the key. If they get a touchdown here, it really changes the whole dynamic of this game.
absolutely. So money line Bears 3-1, half a unit. I'm looking at this, and yeah, I mean, Jaden Daniels, 6 pass completions, 111 yards. That's nearly 20 yards of completion. That's got to change, right? That's got to regress, especially considering he has 8 incompletions. So he hasn't been super accurate.
No,
They're trying to push the ball downfield clearly, but as long as Caleb Williams and DeAndre Swift can kind of, bring things back a little bit here, I think that Bears money line is a good look. What about player props in this game?
yeah, that's a tough one for me because I immediately wanted to go to Robinson. He's looked so good in this game running the ball, and
Mhm.
I know it's probably already bumped up. I mean, he's at 50 yards already for the game. He's averaging 5 yards per carry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this right now with him how he's looked in this game. So that's a bet that I'm just gonna make right now in case the Bears too kick a field goal here, and it's like okay. The Washington's going to be total ball control, especially in the second half where, they're getting the ball to start the second half. So that to me is a big deal with Robinson. We've seen when they've gone on these leads, they really lean on him. He's been great for the Washington this season.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just tick this over here. And it looks like for Robinson, they've adjusted his line pretty solidly. His live line is 87.5 at FanDuel.
Yeah, that's too high for me.
I know. So it's like a spot you want to look at, but it's pretty
Yeah,
darn
that's
high.
tough.
One thing I will say though, of course, is 10 carries is a nice solid number. If he's able to get 10 more, right, then I do like that. Jaden Daniels has 3 for 31. So it's not like Jaden Daniels hasn't been running despite that rib injury. So
Right.
your call here. We're not showing value on the over.
No, I'd pass on that. It just feels like it's too many.
Yeah, it definitely feels a little bit high there for Brian Robinson Jr., especially if the Bears start actually making some drives here, which they haven't yet, but
I mean, I'm
remains to
interested
be
what
seen.
Caleb Williams' passing yards or model is right now because he's only at 33 yards.
Yeah, Caleb Williams,
3 of 8.
33. Let's see. I just need to pop in the money line, right?
Oh, and
Because we got some.
he just took a huge sack. So yeah, they're kicking a field goal now.
Yeah, they'll be kicking a field goal. Just need to update the model.
No, it was a great half by Washington's defense. I know the Bears are a little rusty coming off that bye week, but they really dominated that whole half.
Yeah, so we'll see if the
Oh,
Bears
they
score
punted.
here.
Wow, the
Oh, they
Bears punted.
punted.
Oh
All right,
man,
so
this is the
uh,
under dream right now.
that changes things a little bit. Actually, that makes the Commanders much more rush heavy. So we could revisit now. Still not value on Brian Robinson Jr. there, but Caleb Williams, as far as his passing stats,
Yeah.
let me see what his live prop is. 165.5 at FanDuel. We're showing 183
Wow.
for our projection. So definitely overvalue there, which was where you were looking.
Yeah, because my whole view of this is just that they're quick to abandon the run, the
Yeah.
Chicago team. And now,
178.5 at DraftKings. So there's a huge middle there from 165.5 to 178.5 between two different books there.
that's really nice value.
But yeah, I just like the over, right? Because we're at 183 for our
Yeah.
projection. So let's take the over if you want to.
And I love to do this where like there's a little bit of me that hopes that there's a 3 and out by Washington. And you get these these cheap yards right
Exactly.
here before half.
Yeah, let's do it. So Caleb Williams over 165.5 passing yards, minus 114 at FanDuel. And there's always that chance of a 3 and out for Washington. But even then, we like Caleb Williams over 165.5 passing yards, regardless. Just a little extra incentive in case they somehow get the ball back before the end of the half. So, thoughts on maybe some touchdowns for this game, especially with
touchdowns for a game that has no touchdowns.
I was going to say, especially for a game that's only been field goals so far.
To me, it's again, it's a broken horse. But the Robinson had a walk-in touchdown if they didn't have a penalty on. I think they had a illegal shift, or maybe it was motion. Washington,
Yep.
but Robinson had a walk-in touchdown that got called back. So he is. I know it's obviously mathematically, it's like that should lessen it. Where it's like it's not like that same play is going to work again in the future. But
Right.
they're a team that just likes to lean on him when they get in the red zone. Like they've been giving him touches all year. And I know that you get better value every week because of Eckler. Like the book always shades a little bit his number just because of Eckler. So I just wonder if there's any value right now for you on Robinson anytime touchdown.
Our model has plus 230. I'm looking out there. I'm seeing 2-1. So not quite.
No.
One thing that's interesting, if you like the Bears money line, then a Bears touchdown would correlate with that, right? So I'm looking DeAndre Swift, our model has plus 260. I see plus 290 out there. I'm just looking across all the different Bears. Cole Kmet, 5-1. Our model has plus 450. And let's look at their wide receivers. Yeah, I'm showing value on DJ Moore, plus 340. Our model has plus
Oh my God.
320.
Oh, I thought we had a Josh. I thought Josh Allen was going to try to run one in for us. That'd have been great on Bet What Live happens. You know?
That would have been great. And Rome plus 650. I'm showing plus 550. So there's a lot of Bears touchdown value. It's about selecting the right one or two. If
I got no read on the Bears. They're just so random to me. They're a tough team.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I mean, to me, I think we could look if we're betting Williams over passing yards. You want to look at the player props for yards. I mean, DJ, he's had a couple of times where he's been open and Caleb just missed him. I think that's a way we could attack it.
Yeah, let me do one thing real quick. I'm just gonna check some matchups here. So Cole Kmet has a really nice matchup in this one.
Okay.
So yeah, DJ Moore has a negative matchup based off the coverage types that the Commanders use, and I'm using fantasy points data here. So I'm showing value on Cole Kmet. So maybe that's the direction we want to go.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, let's do it. And
he
I know
definitely is targeting him this year, especially in the red zone. I mean, I think what was it last week? He had 2 touchdowns, or the week before?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was Gilles Gallant, our buddy on the touchdown show, chose Cole Kmet with one of his TD picks. So
yeah,
Cole Kmet is, I think, where we're going to go to correlate with that Caleb Williams passing yards over plus 490 at FanDuel. So let's go quarter unit on that. Cole Kmet, anytime touchdown plus 490.
Let's do it.
All right, Simon, any other bets, or you want to wrap it up there right as we're about to get to halftime of this one?
Yeah, honestly, I was hoping for just some random points here at the end of the half for this Chicago Washington game, so I could tell people to bet the under again, because I did think it's gonna be ugly and sloppy like this the whole game. It's just two really young quarterbacks in a really tough game right now. So no, I like the bets we gave out. I mean, the biggest one to me is I'm really going to be locked in on the Seattle-Buffalo game, especially with our anytime touchdowns defensively.
Ray Davis, 5 rushing yards. So he even got some yardage there on the first drive. So it's pretty good. All righty. Well, that'll do it for Bet What Happens Live. I want to thank Simon, of course, for joining me on this Sunday on our rotating cast of guests that we have on Sundays. Appreciate it, Simon. And Bet What Happens Live will be back tomorrow for Monday Night Football. Until then, good luck with your bets, everybody, and enjoy the rest of the games.